Welcome to the Passionate Pioneer podcast. Hi, I'm Beth, and I'm passionate about supporting women who are feeling disillusioned and disappointed with their career and showing them what is possible when you follow your passion. Having your voice heard, finding your tribe of like minds, and being able to get support is so important when you don't know where to turn or who to talk to. I transformed my life from the corporate world to the coaching world, and I now empower women to follow my example and claim the freedom of choice to follow their heart, soul, and passion. So let's get started. Today I am joined by Lynsey Grace. In 2019, Lynsey was diagnosed with breast cancer, which led her to reevaluate everything in her life. After much reflection and deliberation, she realized that many things had to change for the better. She made the decision to end a long-term relationship, as well as her corporate sales career, which were both utterly unfulfilling. Still reeling from her diagnosis and heartbreak, she looked fear in the eye and made a courageous decision to start her own business as a life coach. Taking equity out of her house, she reinvested it into herself and her new career, including life coaching, EFT, and Reiki qualifications. 2 years later, Lynsey is now a positive sales psychology coach and business mentor, supporting women in growing and scaling their businesses through ethical sales and powerful mindset shifts. The best decision I ever made, she quotes. Welcome, Lynsey.
Oh, what an introduction. Thank you for having me, my darling. Thank you. Yeah, epic introduction there. I love it. It's interesting hearing that back as well, because obviously that is my life, but that's the power of almost coaching, isn't it? It's that reflection where you go, shit, yeah, wow, I am pretty kick-ass, aren't I?
Yeah. Isn't it when you sort of summarize it, into that introduction, and you're like, oh my God, wow, that's a lot of the reflection. Is that me? Right? Yeah.
Me, I didn't do all that.
Did I do all that? Did I really do all of that? Right? It's incredible. So let's jump back then. So let's start from the beginning then, when you obviously had the diagnosis and things dramatically changed for you.
Yeah. So as you can imagine, it was a bit shit to get the news that Miss Davies, you've got breast cancer. Oh, great. Okay, wonderful. But again, with reflection on that, I was very pragmatic. I actually said to the doctor, okay, what do we need to do? And I'm very grateful for the kind of mindset that I didn't know I would have. And, if I was given those kind of words again, would I react the same? But how I reacted and how I dealt with it, I'm very proud of myself and relieved almost, because I didn't go into the fear-based kind of mindset of, oh my God, what if? I was, as I say, very pragmatic of like, right, okay, what do we need to do? Let's get it done. Very much like that. The thing that probably was harder was the relationship that I was in was what I would have thought at the time was the love of my life, and I thought I was going to end up with this guy. And it had been rocky, to say the least, over the last few years. And I knew deep down it wasn't healthy and right for me. But yeah, for whatever reason, I stuck with it. Then getting that diagnosis and having a very petty row with him about a week after that diagnosis was the last straw, and I ended the relationship. So 2019 was pretty, can I swear on this podcast?
Yeah, you can, absolutely, darling.
Yeah.
You go for it.
Go for it. Yeah, so 2019 was pretty fucking hefty. It was a bit of a heavy year. The heartbreak was something emotionally I had to deal with, and then obviously had to kind of physically get better. But it gave me time out from the corporate job, and the corporate job had never lit me up. I was always just doing it because I didn't know what else to do, and I had a deep desire and a deep knowing that I was meant for more. And I always used to say, if I knew what it was, I know I'll be really good at it. I just don't know what it is. I can't find it. And then almost having the cancer diagnosis and healing the heartbreak, it just led me on my own path of self-discovery, and it freed up a lot of energetic space getting out of that relationship. Obviously, when you're kind of looking your lifespan in the eye like that, that also gives you a bit of a wake-up call. And I really just kind of dug deep and did a lot of inner work. I set boundaries. I started a self-care, self-love, like practice and routine. I trained in Reiki. I trained in EFT. So I really started to support my own well-being and my own mental health. And with that came the epiphany of life coaching. And it was, when I say epiphany, it was literally like a lightning bolt. I saw an advert, become a coach online, and I was like, fucking hell, that's it. That's the thing I'm meant to do. And within a week, I'd signed up a $5,000 course to training. I just knew, you know, when you're like that, this is it, this is the thing, I'm going. And I just took it by the balls, the horns, whatever, and went for it. And within probably 6 or 8 months of training, that's when I knew. I was like, well, this is it. This is like my career. This is my passion. And I just basically handed in my notice, took out the money on the house, handed in my notice, and yeah, I haven't fucking looked back, basically.
Yeah, that's great. That's fabulous. Right. Yeah, it's one of those, like you said, it was an epiphany moment to see the life coaching, but it was also probably, it was life-changing to get the diagnosis to start with. And that's kind of like, not to be, you know, I don't want to sound disrespectful, but it's like a heavenly sent, really. It was to give you that, it's what I call a spiritual, it's a major spiritual turning point, isn't it? So
listen, what I say about
that,
which way
do I go here? What am I going to do now? What's like going to throw at me? What's going on?
Yeah, more than anything, and I think we're quite similar having this chat before on coming on air, but for me, I'm very much an action taker and very much a doer. And for me, that year, I don't look back in victim mode and go, and I didn't, while it was happening to me, I never had the victim mindset of like, oh God, why me? Oh, bloody hell, oh God, what am I going to do? I just didn't. I was very much like, right, life has given me this lesson. Life has given me this heartache and hardship. How can I get something out of it? What can I turn this into? How can I make it positive so that it's not doom and gloom? So it is here for a reason. It hasn't just happened in my life for no reason. I'm going to rinse this and bloody bleed it dry to make the most out of it. And that's what it did. That year was the life turning point of me and self-love. Effectively, it was self-love. I just learned that what self-love meant, what it is. It's boundaries. It's respecting myself. It's respecting my energy. It's not putting up with shit. It's just really listening to what lights me up, really understanding what makes my boat float. You know, I fell in love with myself. I just got into myself.
But I think that's what happens, isn't it? With these major life events, you know, are meant to be sort of a rocket up your backside to say, come on, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah, but I think it's important to say that I don't think everyone sees that. And I'm a great believer in lessons will keep coming and bashing you on the head until you listen. So for me, I could have gone into victim mode and gone, oh my God, this is shit. Stay in my corporate job, stay with that partner who was, it wasn't serving me. I could have done all that. But the point that I'm making here is it was my decision and attitude to look at something that a lot of people would be scared of and go, that's okay. I'm not going to give it my power. How can I make opportunity out of this? Where can I find the goodness in this, the lessons? How can I propel me and my life forward from this? And I saw it as a springboard. It never held me back.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a great, courageous story, right? That you, instead of going into victim mode, like you said, I mean, most people would.
Absolutely.
They just wallow in it. Poor me, poor me, poor me, right? And instead going it the other way and saying, right, let me start taking charge of my life and putting some boundaries and start doing self-care and love and, you know, finding out, who am I? What am I? You know, I'm meant for more. It's funny. I put that little post up a few days ago. You are meant for more, and I said it's an old cliche, but do you really push it aside, or do you really think, yes, I am made for more. I want more. I deserve more. In my life.
Well, I think a lot, and especially now I work closely with women and doing a lot of the psychology around mindset and what women think and feel on a massive scale. And it is kind of with a paintbrush, but so many of us feel and think this way, but we're deeply conditioned with, you know, our parents, what they thought, the parents before them, the government, society, as women. And this isn't being, you know, I'm not man hating here or anything, but just as women, we are conditioned to stay small, to stay quiet, to stay non-visible.
Stay in your box.
Stay in your lane, stay in your box. And I think the beautiful thing that I've discovered of being like this business and life coach now is that it's coming this time now where so many women are starting to see like a light in that box, in the lid of it, going, actually, I'm giving myself permission. And if I'm not giving myself permission, I'm going to find somebody that's going to help me give myself that permission. You know, I'm going to start stepping out into these bold, courageous moves. And I think that's happening more and more. And it's really important to me because I've got a 12-year-old daughter. So it's massively important.
Yeah, I was going to mention your children because you've got kids, haven't you? A daughter, yeah?
I've got one daughter, Georgia, who's 12. And it's massively important to me that I tell her I'm an entrepreneur. I tell her I left my corporate job. I tell her I made bold moves, courageous moves, and it's scary and it's hard. But do you know what, baby? I'm doing it, and so can you. Because I'm a believer in, like, she sees her mum doing it, midlife, midlife, 46, I was 43 or something, or whatever it was when I left the corporate world.
Right.
And, so I'm not a spring chicken like a lot of these women that you see online, and I love that, though. I think that's my superpower. I'm like, I've not got to my deathbed. I've not looked back and gone, oh God, well, it was all right, but it could have been better. I'm living life to the fullest.
You want to go, you want to go at the end. You want to go sliding in, going, woo, what a ride.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, you were 43. Yeah, I was in my 40s too when I quit my corporate career and decided to follow my passion and follow what I wanted to do instead of being dictated to all the time.
Exactly. And it does. It is. I guess what held me back was just not knowing, and I think a lot of people will also feel like that. Like, what I don't know what, if I leave here, then what? And I think deep down, with the right support, there's always a seed of something. There's always something. Yeah, there's always something that you've always been good at. Like for me with life coaching, I'm always that friend from being like 12 years old. I can remember people coming to me and I was the one that would help them. Like they've got a dilemma, they've got a problem, and I'm the one that they trust. I'm the one that would hold space and listen, and I'm the one that would help them advise and work out the path to go on. Always. But until I'm life coaching, I didn't look at those breadcrumbs. I didn't look at that. And I became a coach, and everyone that's known me said, oh my God, that so suits you. Oh my God, yeah, I can so see you doing that as a career, because you've just always naturally been that way as a person. And
this is called the Passionate Pioneer podcast, right? The Pioneer. Yeah. I mean, I was dubbed by my peers when in one of the last cohorts I was in, business mentorship program, and they dubbed me the pioneer, and my close friend said, oh my God, Beth, that's perfect. I didn't see myself as a pioneer though, you know what I mean? I just followed my heart and followed my passion, followed what I was doing, I was like, pioneer, gosh, that sounds a bit egotistical. And I'm like, no, not really. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm stepping out. I'm leading by example, like you are with your daughter. You're saying, look, this can be, follow me. I show you the steps. Yeah. It can be done.
Because I think as women as well, we don't necessarily have those stereotypes that we can look up to. Again, that's where we're changing history here now. And it really is that moment, the internet has basically brought us this power and this awakening to be able to be visible, to be able to step out, to not be held back and need the support from a man per se, or a woman if you're gay or what, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? You can do it on your own. And the internet, I think, is a massive catalyst for that, and that's why times are changing. And I think it's a massively important thing to lead by example. And what I tend to do, I'm over on Instagram a lot, and in my account I will talk about the tough days and how hard it is. But as well, it's about bouncing back, isn't it? But how do you deal with it when it's tough like that? How resilient are you?
Well, it's funny because you talked about when you first had to, you came out of that diagnosis and you were saying, well, I'm either going to be the victim or the victor. Which one is it? And then you sort of go into that, well, who am I? And you start, and I think as entrepreneurs, this was, all new to me when I stepped into it. I had to sort of start unpeeling the layers of me before I could even, and I didn't even know I needed to do that. Luckily, one of my first coaches was a positive psychology coach. Yeah. And so we did a lot of uncovering and a lot of digging for me, because I had all these blocks. Oh, I can't do that. I'm not good enough for that. I'm not sure about that. Blah, blah, blah. Yes. And I was still in the box kind of thing. I was clamoring to get out, but I was just like, I need to get out of the box.
I think that's what I'm saying. I think most women, I would say 99%, dare I say, of women we just do. It's the way that the mind works. We have beliefs, and they're called limiting beliefs because they stop you from growth. They hold you back. So it could be like success in your subconscious mind could be scary, because success means that you'll lose all your friends because they'll think, who's she? Who the hell is that woman? Who does she think she is? It might be that your dad's always told you, like, oh, women don't do X, Y, and Z. You know, so our subconscious mind, these are the beliefs that we hold. And a lot of the time, we don't actually know they're there until we start doing something like this, because then we either sabotage ourselves, or we get stuck, or we resist the growth. We go, no, I'm not doing that. I can't do it. And I think that's where coaching is so powerful, because coaching shines a light on your blind spots that, as you say, even you, like, well, I don't think I need it. Everyone has that sort of, I'm okay, I can do this.
I was totally unaware of it. I was just like, oh, I'm learning about myself. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Write a list. My God, that's a long list.
But I think it's ongoing, you know, and I often say that entrepreneurship is like self-development on steroids, because every day you literally learn about yourself, because you learn about your hang-ups, you learn about those beliefs, you learn about your fears, you learn about your weaknesses, you learn about your strength. Every day there's some sort of growth in there, because entrepreneurship makes you do that. You have to step out your comfort zone. You have to learn new skills. Like the amount of skills that I've learned and that still continue to learn, you know, accounting, marketing, online selling, all loads. Yeah,
that's it. That's what I'm saying. I thought I'd just go in and start doing all of those other bits, which I was learning at the same time. Don't get me wrong. I was unpeeling the layers of myself and learning marketing and social media and Canva posts and what. You know, it's business stuff. It was, you know, because coming from a corporate background, it's all sort of done for you, because you've got you know, an accounting team, and you've got a marketing team, and you've got people that you go to. When you step into it on your own, you know, you've got to do everything. But what I wanted to touch on was the success, because I think my belief is that, you know, we are so used to failure. We're accustomed to that. I don't think we're afraid of failure on the other side. I think we're afraid of our own success and our greatness. Yeah. Because we've been put in this box, especially as women, I'm talking about, right? Men seem to be better at standing up and going for what they want. And I think women we've been kept in this box in the shadows for so long. And I think, you know, and we're okay to fail, because that's familiar. That's a comfort zone, failing, because we've done that before. Okay, that failed. Well, that's all right. I think it's the greatness and how much we're capable of on the other side.
Absolutely. And, you know, I work with my clients on very much this, because to grow a business and to move it forward, yes, you need the strategy and the goals and the planning. But ultimately, if your mindset is limiting you or stopping you from that growth, you'll always sabotage, you'll always take a step back when you want to go forward, you know. So it is that awareness, and I do totally agree with you there. I think the thought of success to so many women is very scary, because one, we've been conditioned that that's not what we do as women. We've also not got many, or didn't have so many women that we could look at that
we just had mentors
celebrated to do that. Yeah, exactly. And I think as well, there's the fear of that success, like, well, who will I become? You know, what if I lose my friends? What if I can't handle it? What if it gives me more work to do? What if that success is overwhelming? So there's a lot of fear of success, 100%, but those always come back to that limiting belief again, isn't it?
Well, it's all the things about money as well, you know, since we were kids. Come on, I mean, British kids, you know, money is the root of all evil. Money doesn't grow on trees. You know, only those people with money, they're just evil. You know, it's just all of this is ingrained in us. You've got to uncover and go, no, actually, I can actually help. I can actually help so many more women. You know, if I've got the finances, if I've got the finances behind me, right? I'm not an evil person. That's just a load of crap.
So again, I love money mindset. I work heavily on my own and with my clients on money mindset. And one of the things I say is, like, money in good women's hands, or money in women's hands, is an amazing thing. Like, it's a powerful thing, because if you think about money, because when women come to me as well, we're working on what they're going to charge, and there's a lot of hang-ups around, I can't charge that, and I don't know how to sell, that. So we do a lot of the positive psychology around that, and around the money that's attached to it, around the beliefs. And I think as well, when it comes to like charging prices, people put their worth on it. And I always say your worth is not attached to prices or to the outcome. You know, money is an energy, it's an energy exchange. You know, what value are you giving to that person? And that's where
it's about the value, isn't it? It's about the value rather than the money.
The perceived value, actually. It's the perceived value. Like, what does that person feel they're going to get? And that's the energy exchange. That's money. You know, money isn't bad. Money isn't good. It's neutral money. We give money a title of good or bad. We make money a thing. You know, we call in money or we push it away. But ultimately, the money mindset is such a powerful thing to start working on, and I bloody love it. Yeah,
I totally agree. It's money mindset is a big one for most. And it's the mindset shifts, isn't it, from the corporate, where you're kind of told what to do and you've got certain responsibilities and you can't really step out. You can't, you know, you try. But, you know, I mean, if you had some bosses like mine, they'd just nick your ideas. They'd say, oh no, that's a crap idea, Beth, and then they'd just nick the idea and pitch it, you know, and just so it, you know, there's no room. Then it's just like, well, how do I grow then, and how do I get my opinion across? And you know, and
I think it's like you're saying as well, and again, I use this a lot with my clients, because money in good people's hands can do more good things. So if you're going to charge, say, £1,000, overcharging £100, if you made, say, 100 grand in a year within your business, imagine all the good that you can do. It's only a good thing because you're a good person. So rather than saying I should be giving my services for free, which I hear a lot, you know, I feel bad charging because I want to help people and I can do this thing and I feel bad for charging. That's a complete block, because it's really about digging deep and going, but if I do charge because it's an energy exchange and someone's getting this value from me, imagine what I could then do with all this money that I want to create. You know, the power would be in my hands, and I'm a good person.
Well, then you could give it back, right? You can give it once you're making it.
Of course.
Then you've got enough to, you know, for you. Then you can start giving it back, and you can start doing some pro bono sessions. You can start helping, you know, women that, you know, have maybe their purse strings are a little tighter, you know, and that kind of thing, you know, and giving to charities and helping local charities, you know, it all helps.
Money in good people's hands does good things. You know, we're also often got the people with power are knobheads, basically. Let's just say it as it is. Do you know what I mean? And that's again where our fear comes from, of like you said, we've been conditioned, like, oh God, who does she think she is? Who do they think they are? When the reality is, if you truthfully had an overflow of money, wouldn't you do good things with it? Wouldn't you give that homeless person a tenner instead of a quid, or walk on by? Wouldn't you give that charity £1,000 instead of a tenner or nothing? You just would. It quantifies, it compounds, it grows. And again, on an energetic level, imagine 1 million women doing that. Imagine 10 million, you know, again, it just exaggerates and grows and grows and grows. And we've got to come to the core, that belief of like, I'm either not deserving of that amount of money, or I shouldn't charge for that amount of money, or, you know, it's scary to charge. All those beliefs we need to just work on and start charging and earning money and being out there and doing good things with the money that we earn.
Well, I guess, again, it goes back to the, you know, the ancestors, the grandparents, the parents, the grandparents, the great-grandparents. You know, the man was always the breadwinner and the woman stayed at home taking care of the kids. So what happens these days if you decide not to have kids, or you just didn't have kids by default, or, you know, and you want to work and you want to have a career? It's been quite hard for women, I think, in the, you know, to pick up, especially in the corporate career, in the corporate world. Sorry, I noticed that a lot of women, they're very much in their, they're very much in their masculine, and they're quite awful, actually.
Well, it's wounded masculine, to be fair, isn't it?
It's the wounded, isn't it? It's the wounded warrior.
The wounded masculine energy. But that's because, again, you know, like a bit Margaret Thatcher was a bit like that, wasn't she? Like, you know, can't beat them, join them kind of vibe. And really, when you're talking energetically, you want the divine masculine, the divine energy, which are all energies that are positive. You know, the divine masculine, that energy is a goer, a doer, a bit like what we were saying you and I are. And the divine is that you give, but you've got boundaries, you know. But the broken masculine and feminine, they're quite cutthroat and they're quite needy.
Yeah,
and they're quite
I was just going to say they're very cutthroat. It's just like, cutting people and throwing them behind them, right, as they're going up the ladder, right?
Yeah, and I don't believe, again, I have women that come to me that don't want to sell because there's that perception of like, but selling is salesy, selling feels pushy, selling feels too much. And I really work on the mindset of like, selling is service, and you've got something to offer the world that can help someone. You need to tell people about it, and it's communication. That's all selling is. It's communicating the value that you can offer to someone, and then it's up to that person whether they perceive that value as enough to buy from you. It's
quite laughable, isn't it, really? Because when you look at the big companies, they're always, that's all they do. They just sell, and cross sell. And, I mean, that's what if you've got a product and you've got a service and that you love and you're passionate about, obviously, that's how some of the other companies started. They've got a product, they're passionate about it, and that you've got to sell it. You put a post up, didn't you, about, selling all the time is not good. But you said, you were saying no. You were saying no to that. You were saying, who told you that? That's wrong information. Sell every day, right? Because that's.
Well, selling you can sell without selling. Again, this kind of derogatory, bad way of selling that people have in their mind's eye. Selling a story. Selling to me is just communicating. So I can talk about, how I help my clients. That's selling, because you're going, oh, right, I'd quite like to work with her because how she's got that result for her, I'd like that result. You can sell by testimonials. You can sell by, case studies. There's loads of ways to sell. You can sell directly. Do you want to work with me? This is how you do it. There's loads of ways, but the key thing is just communicate, just talking about it. That's uncomfortable, isn't it? It was uncomfortable for me when I first started to have a voice. The podcast is really, this year I said, right, I've got to get my voice out there, and that's what started the podcast, because it is really, it's very uncomfortable to most entrepreneur women that I know. They're, some of them, they all started the same, that it's very uncomfortable to speak online. It's very uncomfortable to see your face on everywhere, right? Oh my God, Beth, you're everywhere. Yes, I know. I've got used to that, right? So, there's Beth again. Oh, there's Beth again. Oh, I can't just keep seeing you all over Facebook and Instagram, Beth. Oh, there you are again, right? You just get used to it, don't you? It's just it just flies off my shoulders now. Well, we don't put too much thought, because in the beginning, I think what there is that it's that fear again, fear of judgment, fear of being too much, fear of overexposure, fear of this, fear of that, fear of speaking my truth. And again, like you say, with my clients, I talk about it's a muscle. You just build the muscle up. The more you do it, the more you step out of your comfort zone, which is, so if that's a bit scary doing a video, do a short video, do something where you're sharing the video with someone, do a podcast where no one can see you. There's ways of starting to build that confidence muscle, and you'll soon, like you just said, start to say, oh my God, what the hell was I worrying about? It's just nothing. Like, who cares what people think? Who cares what people say? Is anyone actually watching anyway?
I was in the garden. I took some gardening things the other day, and I'm like, right sweaty mess. I was just like, just my hair was like, and I was just like carrying a bag of soil. I was doing the pots, and I just took some pictures and a video. I was like, just thumbs up kind of thing, looking like a right sweaty mess. I really don't care. It's like, but you see, people want to see the real you. They don't want this fake. Fakeness, and there's so much of that, isn't there, on social media? There's so much of this fakeness.
Well, of course, because you can hide behind it. But I think if you've got the women that are going to be listening to this, I'm sure are very similar to you and I, that we want to be ethical, we want to be authentic, we want to be genuine, and if you come from that space of being that, then really powerful magnificent things can happen to you, because you're just stepping into your power. Like the power is you. You are the power. You are everything. Everything that you desire is already inside you. All the answers that you need, you already hold.
I believe that too.
Absolutely.
The wisdom of your soul, I call it. The wisdom of your soul, right? Know everything already. But I do like the fact that you said it is like building a muscle. Because I just, as I said, again, social media is just, come on, 60 days, you can make 10,000. Yeah, come on, this is not realistic. Let's stop with the fakery, right? And let's be realistic that if you, for me, the women I help step out of their 9 to 5 in steps, in stages.
Yeah.
Don't just stop and then the next day you've got a successful business.
Yeah.
You do it in stages. You follow a process.
Yeah. I mean,
so it feels a bit more comfortable and a bit more safe, because it's the safety, isn't it? Safety and stability.
Yeah, because your nervous system will have kittens if you like push it too far. I call it a traffic light system. So if you think of your comfort zone, like green is obviously where you're safe and you're in your comfort zone. Amber is like you're slightly stretching it, and red is like, woo, sirens going off. Bloody hell, step away, come back, don't do it. So I think when you're being an entrepreneur, the best way to grow this muscle is to on a daily step into that amber and just push yourself ever so slightly. It might give you butterflies, it might make your mouth dry, it might be a little bit scary, but your nervous system isn't like screaming for you to not to do it, because that's no good as well, because we need our nervous system. We don't want it to be in fight or flight, which is that then causes diseases because you're in fight or flight and your organs are not being looked after, or the other way around, they're being looked after. So you want to just make sure that it is a gentle push forward. But again, that's why coaching is so valuable, because it's that accountability, it's that working it out, it's finding out what's holding you back, it's finding out a way of getting around that. It's a way of like almost having yourself held in that accountability, and also that kind of safety and trust of like, okay,
learning valuable tools, learning things that help yourself. Because we don't have all the answers, we help you to find the answers. That's what coaching and mentoring, they're pretty much the same, right? It's all to do with you discovering you. Absolutely. And we're just here and we've got those tools to help you, to provide stepping stones or blocks, so that you don't go into that bloody fear or flight or fight mode, because that's bloody terrible.
And you just get poorly if you're too long it's sustained in that. But working in a corporate job, you could already be in the fight or flight, because if it's that stressful and if it's that horrendous, or that you're that miserable there, then 9 times out of 10 you're more than likely going to be living from that space of fight or flight, which is like that do, get on. We don't rest, we don't stop, we just keep going. We just that isn't healthy, and a lot of women are in that go attitude, which can be partly from trauma as well. Like we just keep moving to stop, because being with yourself can be quite hard. Just sitting with yourself. I agree. Getting to know yourself.
One of my clients actually quit her job, and then took a few months to basically recalibrate. To have some time for herself, and to understand, what do I want now? So think about, and now she's with me. So she took some time first. So, there's some women that are still got one foot out the door, probably in the amber, as you said, the traffic lights are in the amber. They've got one foot out the door, but they need that help to get the other foot out. They need some stepping blocks and building blocks.
And I know when I first started, and part of what I bring to my coaching now is like a roadmap almost, because when I first started, I was like, again, once I've got the qualifications, I was like, right, okay then, what now? I just remember thinking I just need someone just to kind of, as I say, give me a bit of a roadmap. Like, right, if you're just starting, if you've just left your job, these are the best money making things to do first. These are the best needle moving activities to do in your business. Build these to get your foundations in place, because in a year's time you'll be glad you started doing that. Do you know what I mean? I needed that, and that's now what I think is really important and valuable to give to my clients, because you don't know your arse from your elbow. You're like, where do I start? You could spend a whole year doing something where you're like, no, you maybe should have done that first, and that would have helped you to get there quicker.
You need building blocks for the foundations. You need to build a foundation. You need to absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
So I offer all that along with the mindset, also energetics. I do EFT, which I find fascinating, and it's a really beautiful, gentle modality just to change the way you think, but also change the way you feel. And I offer that bespokely to my one-to-one clients, and we just get real results. We just move.
I like EFT. I've got another friend actually who's only a friend. She just works. She's not an entrepreneur. She's kind of stepped into it and then stepped back. So but she does EFT work, and it's amazing. Amazing.
It's very gentle but very powerful.
Includes the tapping, doesn't it? It's like includes the tapping.
The tapping and there's a routine that I use in my clients as a trained EFT practitioner. I know kind of the routine to use, but as I say, I do bespoke ones, particularly for their problems and their issues. And a lot of it could be around all these topics we're talking about: becoming visible, stepping into your power, money, you know, holding yourself back, self-sabotage, imposter syndrome, burnout.
You know, well, they're probably already, like you said, already burnt out from corporate, right? So it's just but yeah, as a new business owner, burnout is something we have to try and avoid.
Absolutely.
So I think we've answered quite a lot of the questions, my questions anyway, just automatically. But if you could go back and change anything, what would you change anything at all?
What about leaving corporate and starting my biz?
Yeah, would you have done it earlier maybe?
Would I have done it early? Do you know what? I don't think I would have been, as much as I'd like to say yes, I think I probably would have quit sooner, because it's like a roller coaster. There's real highs, and then there's real lows, where if you don't have that tenacity and that resilience and the almost real desire, like I have got an unwavering belief that this is what I'm meant to do. And I think if I did, I don't think I would have had that in my 30s or 20s. And I think when the times got tough, I think I would have gone, well, I'm not meant to do it, am I? Right, okay, oh God, I'll move on to the next thing.
Yeah, I would have run. I was the same. I wasn't ready in my 20s and 30s. I was still wet behind the ears, as they say, right?
Exactly. And I think now I've got, because of that deep belief, that stuff comes along and pushes me and shakes me and scares me. And I'm like, no, it's okay. I'll just ride it out. And also now with the healing modalities that I use on my clients and myself, I know how to help myself and support my nervous system and to not push myself when I feel like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's why I said it's all those things that, you know, I had to learn.
Yeah,
you know, about myself. Who am I? Start uncovering the layers, and you know, start attitude of gratitude and money beliefs, and you know, old, outdated, conditioned, limiting beliefs that were just, you know, there's so many. And then also the stuff that to help you regulate your nervous system. Yeah, you know, so that you've got breathing techniques and you've got some things that help you, so that when you have that moment where you're going, oh my God, I've got to and breathe, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think something I would say, I know once you were going to ask me about like what would I do, so I would say surround yourself with like-minded people, because I think one of the questions was, you know, about your family and your friends, and I think that, like, I don't necessarily always tell my friends and my family the prices that I charge or what I'm doing, because I think their mindset is the mindset that I've moved away from. So it wouldn't be like a like for like conversation. It would be me going back in time to my old self with those old limiting beliefs around money and success and women in power, etc. I would be talking to that mindset, and I don't want to. So I would say, I'd advise the ladies listening to this to surround yourself with women that are doing it already or aspiring to do it, or women that inspire you. And you can do that via podcast, via Facebook. Come over and follow me on Instagram. Obviously follow yourself, but start surrounding yourself with these women that are showing you that it's doable. Babe, it's doable. It's possible. Let's get out there and do it. And just be very, you know, filter yourself from negative self-talk internally, but also in your friends and in your family and in society. If you know, is this serving me? If the answer is no, then just get rid. Like, put a boundary up and get rid. I think your energy.
I think you've just answered that question perfectly about friends and family, and it's, you know, and you're right. I mean, I don't talk about my business with family. They really don't understand. They're not meant to. It's not their journey. It's my journey. Right, so I've sort of got that boundary now where, you know, if they ask, I'll tell them, and then, but I'm not expecting them to like it or not like it. You ask the question, I'll tell you something, but most of the time we just keep it light. And the only times I talk to my friends about business is because two of them they're watching me and they want to do the same. So they want me to support them in some stories.
I think when you're doing something that's out of the comfort zone, it's very easy to get swayed back into your box. So that's why I would say, be careful who you share it with, be careful who you connect with, and protect your energy, because one false move and it could take a year of your growth right back to the start, because someone said, oh, well, no, I wouldn't do it like that. And then you start doubting yourself. You go, oh, shit, maybe I'm charging too much. Maybe she's right. Maybe I shouldn't, you know.
Maybe I'm doing it all wrong. Oh my God, I've got it all wrong. I'm charging the wrong amount. Just block all the noise out.
you don't want to listen. It's so easy to listen. So yeah, and one of my biggest bits of advice is just be really protective of your energy and of this new idea and path, and this dream that you've got, like, it's yours. Don't let anyone else steal it, because your page 100 could be their page 1. It's just, you're on different, it's apples and pears. You can't compare yourself, and nor should you. You're unique. You're here for something really special, and you're here for such growth in your own way, that you need to follow that yearning and that calling, and get support if you need it. But don't hold yourself back by limiting yourself with other people's opinions and thoughts.
Yeah, very good. Gosh. Well,
breach, drop the mic.
I just mic drop, boom. I think you've just ended the podcast, this podcast chat perfectly, Lynsey.
Yes,
perfectly.
Yes.
I think that's great advice for listeners today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Follow your passion, follow that calling, and drown out the voices.
Fuck everyone else.
Fuck everybody else. All right, thank you so much for joining today, Lynsey.
No problem. Listen, if people want to follow me, come over to Instagram. It's Lynsey Grace Coaching over on Instagram. I am offering some strategy calls at the moment, so you're more than welcome to drop me a DM and we'll have a conversation. Absolutely free. I know, what am I doing? But it's a great way to connect and just hear a bit more about other women's stories and understand if it can help or not. So
fantastic.
Please do that. Yeah.
Fantastic. So they know how to get hold of it. And of course, in the episode description, there'll be contact details for Lynsey as well, so you can get hold of her.
Thank you. Beth.
Thanks again.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for listening today. If you would like to join me in telling your story about how you are quietly quitting your career and how you've got one foot out of the 9-to-5 rat race, or if you are a woman who has a story about already leaving the professional world to follow your passion and can offer inspiring advice, then please message me to get yourself booked in on an episode just for you. If you have a question for me or would like to know more information about how I can support you in one of my passion programs, please message me on Instagram, Facebook, or visit my website. You can also grab your free copy of my workbook, Your Passion Journey Starts Here, by joining my online community. And don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy this podcast and share it with your friends. Until next time, this is Beth Taylor at the Passionate Pioneer Podcast, signing off.